Hey guys, got another video today with Josh and Gents, hello lads.
Right.
And today on All Things Midlands, we do transfer window, of course. So 0 worst down to business and 10 the best. So Josh starts off with Arsenal.
An interesting window, lots of ins and lots of outs. Inexperienced players, maybe too many of them being brought in. But have we got an option at the minute? We can't attract these like world class in their prime players because we've got no European football and we're in a crisis at the minute and no one's going to want to come to us. So for Arsenal, it's been a tough window, a lot of money spent, maybe not on the right players. I'm going to give them a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I probably agree with that. I'm on the same time with that, really. I feel like with Arsenal, they do spend quite a lot, but maybe not on the right players. Like the Pepe, he was a good signing, but hasn't really proved like it. Ben White, we'll see more from Lokonga, of course, and Tavares. But I feel like I'm the same by 6 for me. Gents?
I'm personally saying it's got to be a 7 out of 10 because, like, if you look how much you spent like 150 million, and you brought in like the likes of Ben White, you've signed Odegaard on the permanent, but like just the fact that you spent that amount of money has to be like a 7+. It can't be like a 5 or a 6 in my opinion. So
if you look at they spend the most in the whole league, didn't they? Really? So it is a statement, but maybe not the right player in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right, on to Villa.
On to Villa, yeah.
On to Villa. It's been an interesting window, to be fair. 5 players brought in for Villa, like Ashley Young, Danny Ings. There's just a few of them. But like, I think overall, it's been a great transfer window again. Like every year, we've been spending 100 mil. And this year, we've really like hardly touched it. We've spent 93 mil, and then we sold Jack Grealish for 100. So we ain't really spent that much money in, if you think about it. But it's the players we brought in are like amazing, in my opinion. And like they just bring so much to the team. So I think it's got to be at least an 8 out of 10. I would give it a 9, but like I would want to see. I know it sounds a bit greedy, but I would want to see like some outstanding players to replace that Jack Grealish role.
Yeah. Do you feel like with the signings you brought in, they're, let's say, Europa League quality, where I know most Villa fans want to be, of course, but for me, with the signings you've brought in, they are a good signings, but you're still missing that Jack Grealish, which you've lost, of course. I just don't think you're going to be there. I think you're just going to be like a mid-table, like a Southampton Palace type thing. So for me, it's probably a 7 up there, but that little bit more quality, then brilliant transfer window. Josh?
I'm going to go 6 out of 10 just because losing Grealish is never going to be a really good window, is it? Because Villa fans will be distraught. Most of them will anyway, that he's gone. So, yeah, it's not going to be amazing. So 6 out of 10. They've brought in some good players to replace him, but I think Grealish going it can't be much better than a 6 in my opinion.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to go 6.
So we're going on to Brentford, gents.
Brentford, they've brought in 3 signings. I can only remember 2: Adja and Onyeka, I think it is. Don't know what the other one is. But overall, they've had a good window, in my opinion. Like, I also think they've had a good window, but I think they should have brought in more players as well because they've come up to the playoffs. And usually if you come into the playoffs, you got a championship team. You don't have a Premier League team. So I think they should have brought in a few more players. But overall, especially with their start, I don't think they've lost a game yet. On 4 points out of 3 games, you can't really complain about their signings. So I'm going to give it a solid 8 out of 10, really.
Josh?
I'm going to go 7 out of 10 for Brentford because I think they've been sensible and clever with what they've done. Only brought in a few players for a decent amount of money. So I think a 7's right for Brentford.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Josh. I feel like, yes, they have been, have some good sense of the transfer market, of course, the people they brought in and how they sell them, of course. I feel like, around 6 or 7, maybe more signings, as Jen said.
I like the trust the manager has in the team. So that's what he's gone with this season.
I just feel like maybe towards the end of the season, they may pull off a bit. Maybe the fans may help. I don't know, but that's how I feel anyway.
They certainly did in a couple of the first home games, the home game they had first. So yeah, it'd be interesting. No.
Okay, so next Brighton. Brighton, they've made again okay signings, ones that you don't really hear of as they normally do. Really, they brought in Nsame, the new guy who's gone to Stoke on loan. He's one of the ones for the future, if you know what I mean. I feel like Graham Potter's trying to build something there, if you know what I mean. Cucurella, he's an interesting signing for me. I'd like to see how he gets on. Because for me,
I think he's a good player.
He's a good player. I feel like for me, it's probably going to be around a 6. Not the best, but decent.
I'm hovering 6, 7 because of Ben White, 50 million they got for him. and they spent that pretty well from what it seems like. So I think 6 probably about right.
Gents, do you feel like Ben White would be a huge miss to them?
No, personally, because they got Webster, they've got Donk, they've got Matt Byrne or whatever his name is. They got Veltman as well, but they've got a lot of solid centre backs. And like, if they needed to, they could have brought one in. But I don't think it's really a big miss. I know they played 3 at the back, but like, I think like they've got a lot of chemistry at the back. But I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 really, because they've got
Basuma as well.
Yeah, kept hold of Basuma. They've got Cucurella, and then they brought in like Mwepu from Salzburg or something.
Yeah, that's right.
But honestly, you got to give them a 7. Cucurella, what a signing that is.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. So what rank would you give?
I would say a 7.
Okay, fair enough. Next team, Burnley. Josh?
I think Burnley have had a really good window because I think they've spent money. Dyche has been backed for the first time in a fair few years. Bringing in Cornet. Is it the centre backs? Is it Collins?
Collins, yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
And who's the other one? Connor Roberts. And I think they're 3 really good additions to that back line. Wow, Cornet, he can play as a fullback, I think, and he can play as a winger / forward. He can pretty much play anywhere. So, yeah, I think it's been a really good window for Burnley. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I feel like Dyche needs to be back more at Burnley. I feel like now the players are getting on more, and the only real, in my opinion, real threat is, of course, McNeil on the left, or maybe even on the right sometimes, put in the box and get like a crossing toward the strikers. I feel like they need a different thing there. Like maybe Cornet can bring that if he plays left mid, maybe on the wing, which he normally does. You never know, but I completely agree. Maybe an 8 for me. Gents?
I'm just going to put out the shower. I'm going to give them a 9 because they brought in the likes of Cornet, and like for Burnley especially, you don't really see them spend that amount of money. They brought in like a youngster. Well, he's not young. He's like 24. Connor Roberts. Yeah, for Matty Lowson, that's an instant change. And then for also brought in Cornet, like you don't see those types of signings at Burnley. So that's why I'm giving it a 9. Like it's such a good transfer window for them.
Yeah. So next one, Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace are really interesting transfer window for me. Bringing Vieira is all to be something different with the players they lost, of course. I feel like Edward would be really interesting for him. Conor Gallagher's shown his quality that he has, that he did show at the Albion. Elise, when he can get him back fit and not injured. Eze, when he's back. Of course, him, Sahar and Eze, oh my word, would be brilliant. Will Hughes, of course, as well. Anderson and Gueye. I feel like, in a way, it's a bit too unrealistic for me, but I would really like to see how they do for me. I'll probably give it a 9.
Yeah. I think for me, Palace are buying young players, but they've also got a lot of experience, like Edward. He's fairly young, but he's been playing a lot of games, a lot of big games.
Score goals, can he?
Champions League, he can score a lot of goals. And Olise has proved himself in the Championship. Gallagher's proved himself in the Prem for West Brom. So I think they're really sensible signs. Anderson as well. So yeah, for me, Palace are going to be getting a 9 out of 10.
For me, personally, I would give it a 9, but I'm going to give it an 8 because the amount, like, if you look at the amount of players which they released, like Gary Cahill, I think Van Aanholt went. They released a lot of players, and like I know they brought in a lot of good players, but they've only brought in like 7 or 8 players when they released about 15.
Do you feel like they're missing that leader?
What, Palace? It's a yes or no, really. Like they've lost Gary Cahill, which is a massive leader, but they've still got Milivojevic, which they're captain of yesterday, and like maybe one more leader like coming in, like just to like really structure that team well. But yeah, I think Milivojevic will do a job just having that leader role.
Yeah.
Right, on
next
Chelsea.
team, Chelsea. I feel like Chelsea, they literally got the missing jigsaw piece in their puzzle, really.
Yeah, I think I completely agree.
Lukaku was unbelievable. I feel like he'll be a real good player to watch this season, and Chelsea will push him for the league. I feel like Sal's an interesting one for me. I'd like to see how he does. He's had his prime years, I'd say, out there at Co. Coming to the end of his prime. But I think he's still got a lot to give, and Premier League, new league for him. I think he's only going to be a good signing for Chelsea. So for me, Chelsea, 9 out of 10, because Lukaku's a proven goal scorer, and they've got a midfielder, just as an extra option. So yeah. That's what I mean. Like, I feel like with Chelsea, they've got really good depth. So I feel like this season, this could be their time to push on for the, first place and definitely, solidate their top 4 status. So for me, it's a 9. Gents?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give them a solid 9 out of 10 because they brought in the likes of Romelu Lukaku, which you said it's the missing piece really, and then they brought in Sal, which is it's kind of like a interesting signing because they got Kovacic, Jorginho, Kante. They got a lot of players who can play in that centre mid role, and it's just like another player to go in there. Like it makes it more tough for their signing. But I got a question for you: is Romelu Lukaku the best signing of the transfer window?
For me, yes, for the right team, of course. I feel like when Ron came in, we'll go to Man United in a bit. I feel like yes, that was a good signing, but Lukaku for me is their goal scorer they missed. Werner last season wasn't good enough, but I feel like Lukaku could be the man.
Yeah.
Who's next?
Everton. Gents.
Everton, they brought in like 3 signings, I think. Begovic, Demarai Gray, Townsend, and Rondon. That's 4 signings.
Yeah.
No, but especially bringing in Rafa Benitez as well. I'm gonna go out there and give them an 8 because I think they spent 1.6 mil or something. And like the signing of Demarai Gray it's unbelievable. Like he's like 2 goals in 3 games, and then Rondon's obviously to cover Calvert-Lewin. But honestly, I think they've had an all-round really decent transfer window.
Yeah, I feel like they have a decent one, but maybe they could have spent more. They were definitely one of the lowest people to spend in the Premier League, of course. And I feel like maybe a couple more additions, maybe midfield. I feel like maybe their defence ain't as strong as it could be. But I feel like with a couple more additions, they could be a real top side this season. But we'll see anyway. I'll probably give it maybe a 6.
For me, I think Everton's had a really poor window. I think Rondon is an easy signing. Townsend, easy signing. Gray, to an extent, easy signing. And Begovic, easy signing. They've spent about 2 million.
Do you think they're shrewd signings, if you know what I mean? Like they've brought the
I
right
don't think so. I think Townsend's an aging player that's been at Crystal Palace and he's not got a lot left to give. I'm going to give Everton a 3 out of 10 because I think their window's been poor. As an Everton fan, they want to be pushing for Europe. They need a lot more than free agent Rondons, free agent Townsends, and Begovic's. So for me, Everton again a 3.
So Everton fans, what do you think about that? So the next one, Leeds. In my opinion, Leeds, again, did they really bring that many players? No, they didn't really at the start of the transfer window. They brought in Daniel James, of course, and I feel like he wasn't really that needed. 30 mil is a lot of money to spend on him.
I think he was maybe needed as a backup, but overpaid, in my opinion. Yeah, 30 mil, not necessary.
I just feel like they maybe brought in a transfer to kind of get the Leeds fan happy, if you know what I mean, content with the signings. I feel like going to be an average season for Leeds, probably. I'll give him a 5. For me.
Yeah, I'm going to go 6. Junior Firpo as well, not a bad player. Right. Who's the other one they signed? They've signed one more.
I'm not too sure.
They got Jack Harrison on the...
That's it, Jack Harrison on the permanent. That's a good deal. So, yeah, I think 6 out of 10 reasonable for Leeds. Not a lot happening, but signs they made are fairly
content, aren't they, with their signings? Gents?
Yeah. I'm going to say, I'm just going to agree with you, really. It's a 6 out of 10. They brought in Jack Harrison on the permanent, which is a good sign. And then I do agree with you with Dan James. I think he's way overpriced. I think nowhere near 30 million. He's got to be like 15 million, in my opinion. But he did play well in the Euros, to be fair. So maybe that's why his price went up. But yeah, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10.
Okay, next one. Leicester. Josh?
I think it's been typical Leicester window. Some really clever signings, a lot of potential, under the radar players from European leagues, and also Vestergaard and Bertrand, smart signings, gives you good depth in other positions. So for me, Leicester are going to be getting an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I could agree with you. I feel like with Leicester, they've brought the signings in, of course, for the right positions, the shrewd signings, but also they've tried to bring the youth through as well. Like Harley Barnes has now grown to the first team. Dewsbury Hall's coming in as well. Chowdhury's in the battle, but I think he'll leave anyway. So I feel like with Leicester, they've had a great transfer window, in my opinion. I'll give them an 8. Gents?
I'm going to go out there and give them the first 10 because Patterson Daka, what a signing that is. And then they've obviously got Soumare, one for the future again. And then honestly, I can't remember any signings really, but it's just a 10 for them too, really, because like just look at that. Look at the Leicester side, the top 4 already, in my opinion. And then they've added those 2 to it as well. It's going to be like incredible.
Do you feel like the additions of Vestergaard and Bertrand have helped as well?
Yeah, but I think Vestergaard's kind of like, I don't think he'll be cover. I think he will start, but like he's just.
But especially as Fofana and that are out at the moment, like him, Johnny.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Marty and Soriuchu are starting at the moment, but
Exactly.
no, I think when he comes into the squad, it will be top for Brendan Rodgers to pick who'd start, really.
Yeah.
Will we see same old Leicester again, that bottle top four every year? The onus is on
We will
these
see,
new players
won't we?
to come in and make a difference. So yeah, we'll see.
Next one, Liverpool. They made one sign, of course, Canate. I feel like the sign wasn't really needed. I feel like Matip's back now. Joe Gomez and Van Dijk are pretty much two new signings. So I feel like that wasn't really needed. So for me, it's a straight 2.
For me, I'm giving Liverpool a 1 out of 10 because I think Canate, they've gone. I know before they signed Canate, they didn't know Van Dijk was going to come back in a good condition or Gomez, but they didn't need him. They got Nat Phillips' new contract. Matip's looking okay. And they've lost Wijnaldum and they need that replacement in midfield and they haven't got that. So
yeah, I completely agree.
Me, I think most Liverpool fans would agree. I'm going to give them a 1 out of 10.
Gents?
I'm going to give them a 4 out of 10 because I think you're missing the fact that they brought in Canate from Leipzig, the French centre-back. They brought in Canate. And I don't think you can give it a 1 or 2 out of 10. Like, I know they brought in only one
Do you
signing,
think they're missing some midfield as Wijnaldum's now gone?
Yeah, I do agree with you. But like the likes of bringing in Harvey Elliott into midfield, like that just makes it better. And then they've also got Curtis Jones, Milner, and Oxlade-Chamberlain, and so on and so on. So I think it will be covered in the midfield there for Liverpool.
Yeah. Next team, Man City. I feel like Man City, again, of course, they bought the biggest signing, really. Jack Grealish, in my opinion. I thought he was an unbelievable signing. I feel like he probably adds a bit more to City in a different way. But have they got too many players in the same positions like Kyle Walker and can have the swap each week? And you've got not really an out-and-out goal scorer in Jesus while he's performing now, but normally he's not performing. For me, I'll probably give it a 7 just because of Jack Grealish signing.
I'm going to give it a 5 because they didn't quite get a striker, which I think they really needed. I think the Grealish addition is very, very good, but they've got players like him. So I don't think they needed him as much as people think. They needed a striker more. So for that reason, I'm going to give it a 5. Not a lot really went on at City. 1 in go in or 2 maybe. Barely anyone went out, I don't think so. Mendy went to prison, actually. That was 1 out.
That is true. That is very true.
Apart from that, I don't think there's any.
I would give them a 6 out of 10. I'm kind of on the same lines as you, really. Like Jack Grealish, 100 mil, biggest signing in the Premier League now. But other than that, you don't really see anything, do you, from City? It's just same old, really, same team.
That's the question. Do they really need to make it?
Well, we'll see. If they win the league, then they won't need to. But if they don't, then they're going to have to bring in someone, aren't they?
I think it's more the Champions League with City. We all know they can win the league, but it's whether they can go and do that.
Their aim is not transfer league, Champions League, isn't it, really? Next one. It is Man United. So for this one, we got a caller. It's Lewis. See his thoughts anyway. Because in my opinion, it's a very good transfer window.
Will he answer?
See what Man United fans got to say.
Hello, Lewis. What do you guys say about Man United? What are you thinking?
I was thinking about this year's Manchester United transfer window that we had. I think, in my opinion, was very good because think about the players we brought in. So you think about it, number one, we got Sancho in, and he did a lot in the Bundesliga. He did loads the last 3 seasons, perfect. In the attack, he's very agile. He's got skills. He can do everything he needs, and in the future, he's developed into a very good player. Second time we bring the Varane. He's amazing centre-back. He's just what we needed. Lindelof cannot clear at times. He was not good enough. Next, Harry Maguire needs a pacey centre-back who can get back in time when he's not there to cover him. And he can. Varane can do all of that, which would be perfect once he adapts into the Premier League. And then, of course, we've got Cristiano Ronaldo. All Manchester United fans wanted him back. He's one of the best players in the world, even the best player in the world. He makes that whole stadium, the fans, everything goes electric for a couple of months. It's just amazing. So when you have him up top, it's guaranteed goals and just what you like.
Yeah. Do you think you may have missed out on a position at all for Man United or not?
We definitely did miss out someone in the midfield because, we've got Paul Pogba and he's a very good player, obviously. He just gets all the assists and everything like that. But we've got Fred. He gives away the ball too much and he's not there at the right time when you need him. We need someone maybe like a Declan Rice from West Ham, or maybe with that James deal, we could have done a swap for Phillips and get someone in there, so that would be easier for us.
Another question for you is about the Glazers. Do you think they've kind of covered up by the idea they've brought on these really good signings, but the Super League is kind of forgotten about now, or what?
obviously, like they've tried to cover up the Super League by doing all these signings and everything. So
yeah, I'm not. It's interesting, isn't it?
It is a very interesting. Like the Glazers have tried to do all these signings to cover it up and stuff like that, and over time, but some fans will still be very annoyed, obviously, because there was malicious intent to destroy the club and everything like that. But
yeah,
the Glazers.
My question for you is: Glazers in or Glazers out?
I think still Glazers out because you never know what can happen. Imagine if in a couple of years there's still another Super League thing invention that will go on. They will definitely probably have some intention of going in there just for the money, which is not what we want at Manchester United.
Yeah, lads, any questions for him?
No, I think he's. I think he's covered all the spots of Man United.
Yeah, he's covered it all.
Yeah. Thanks for your time, Lewis, mate.
Cheers.
See you. All right, so next team then, Newcastle, gents.
Newcastle. They did bring in. They didn't bring in that many players, did they? I know they brought in that Mexican striker.
They only brought in Willock.
Willock, yeah. They brought in the
striker.
Mexican striker or whatever his name. He's like 20 years old. He looks really good. And then Joe Willock as well, signing him from the loan.
What do you rating them?
I would give them a solid 7, really, because like Joe Willock, he had to come back and he was unbelievable last year. And then the signing of the Mexican kid up top as well. He's one for the future, isn't he? Like he's going to be starting for Newcastle in and out next year, so it's got to be a 7 for me.
For me, I'm not going to lie to you, it's poor. I just think bringing Joe Willock, of course, had to bring him in, but if you want to push on, they've got to bring in more signings for me. Last season, they were really, really bad at some stages, and I feel like if they're going to go for the stage again where Callum Wilson's not fit enough or St. Maximin isn't, they're going to really drop. So for me, it's probably a 4.
For me, I'm going to give it a 1 because effectively Willock was there for the second half of last season. So their squad changed next to nothing. And I think they need a lot more additions to be able to secure survival this year. So for me, Newcastle getting a 1. I think the fans will agree with me as well. A lot of uproar the last few days about...
Yeah, give your opinions, Newcastle fans.
Rightly so. So a 1 for me.
And I've got an interesting one for you. Norwich. What are you thinking, gents?
It's got to be up there with one of the best transfer signings for Norwich in general. Like the amount of players they brought in as well, and the quality of players which they brought in. They brought in Rashika, they brought in forgotten his name, Sargent from Werder Bremen. And they got Lees Melu, Billy Gilmore. It's just an endless list, really. And I'm going to go out there. I'm just going to give them a 10 out of 10. They've done what a championship side needs to do when coming up, bring in a lot of players who can improve the team. And that's what Norwich have done.
However, gents, we spoke about the whole Fulham issue earlier. Are they falling into that trap?
See, I do know what you mean, but like people said this about Villa 2 years ago and stuff, and did Villa go down?
And you scraped up by over the line that didn't get given.
But we didn't do it Fulham, did we? We stayed up, so
very true. I feel like
Norwich will be all right.
With Norwich, though, I know like the chairman, of course, he admitted that Norwich are a financially stable club and they're aiming for at least between 16th towards 6th place. And for them, that is a really good season for them. They're financially stable. So for me, I just feel like they haven't got the squad, especially after they've lost Oliver Skip, of course, to Spurs, who stayed at Spurs and are going on loan for Norwich again. I feel like their squad isn't that good enough, in my opinion. So the signs they brought in, I'd probably give a 6 for me.
I'm going to give Norwich a 7 because I think they have actually gone out and spent, which is good. Some good players they've brought and some that we don't really know a lot about. But at least they have spent, so the fans haven't really got anything to complain about. So they brought in Kabak as well, didn't they?
That's right, yeah.
So, yeah, for me, I think 7 out of 10 for Norwich.
Okay, next one, Southampton. For me, Southampton do need some new signings, especially after losing Danny Ings, of course. I feel like Adam Armstrong could fill his place, but I feel like maybe with the addition of some new players. They brought in a new Brazilian centre-back, didn't they? Was he a free agent, wasn't he?
Bianco or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But I just feel like with Southampton, they maybe needed to bring in a couple of different type of signings. I feel like, in a way, El Yunusi's a new signing, in a way, because like he was on loan at Celtic last season, weren't he? And like hasn't really appeared at all for Southampton. Of course, scored against Newcastle. So I feel like, in a way, it wasn't really the best transfer, and I'd probably give it a 4.
I'm going to go a solid 5 for Southampton because I think Armstrong's not a bad replacement for Ings. They've made 25 mil as well this window.
Very true.
And they've brought in a few other different players, like the centre back you just mentioned.
Do you feel they're strong enough though?
Well, time will tell. I don't think they have that bad of a squad to go down. I also don't think they can push for anything more than a mid-table finish. So I reckon they'll be around about 14, 15, something like that. So for me, Southampton, 6 out of 10.
Gents?
I'm gonna go ahead and give Southampton 5 out of 10 because like it would be lower, but it's the fact that they brought in Adam Armstrong from Blackburn, and he's such a player, isn't he? I think he's already replaced Danny Ings in my opinion. Like the fact, like in the first 3 games, he scored like 2 goals already. He's already turned up, and he looks immense in my opinion. But it brings it down that they've only brought in like a centre back, and they probably brought in some more players. I think Livramento came in as well, and some others.
Livrament's a good player.
Yeah,
But
I've got to give them a 5 because of that. Really, no one else really coming in.
Yeah, so we're talking. Next team, Josh, your rival Spurs.
Wow, they brought in that Emerson right back who looks decent player. Romero, a lot of money, but isn't it only loan at the minute?
Who, Emerson?
And they're kind of going to pay the money next year or something like that.
I'm not too sure, I'll be honest with you.
Is he like 50 mil, something like that, which is a lot of money?
Who, for Emerson? It was 13, I think it was.
They brought in that Brian Gill. And I think the main one's keeping
He's
Kane.
interested on it. It's like a swap deal for Lamella, isn't he?
I think the main keeping older Kane's the main deal, which I think is a very good bit of business. So for Tottenham, I'm afraid they look quite good so far. So organised, 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I feel like in a way, for Spurs, the son of Emerson is different in a way. Like they needed a new right back, in my opinion. I know Tanganga is a good player, but can he do it the whole season? Probably not. I know that Emerson was not happy at Barcelona, of course, because Barca said they didn't really want him and they wanted to sell him off straight away as they bought him. That's what they did, of course, 30 million, so they pretty much made profit. But I feel like Emerson will be interesting to sign, of course. Oliver Skip is someone new as well, which I'd like to see. And of course, keeping Holder King is perfect. So probably for me, a 7.
I'm going to give them an 8 because they brought in like Golini. He's kind of a backup for Lloris, but if Lloris goes, they got Golini. He's a class. He was like backup goalie for Italy. And then they've also got Cristiano Romero. Then you've got Emerson. They've got endless. And they're currently top of the league as well. They've put not for wrong. And Nuno coming in. He's just improved the team so much and like the morale of the team. So I'm going to give them a solid 8 for their transfer business.
Right, on to Watford.
Watford, I mean, made some different signs, of course, bringing in Dennis. They brought in Ashley Fletcher, which I'm not too sure about. Again, average signings, so I feel like maybe it's probably around about a 6 for me.
For me, Watford are going to be getting a 6 as well because Sissoko's not a bad signing. Danny Rose, Dennis.
They've brought in some good little signs.
4 million. I've never only spent 4 million, but they've been kind of clever. A lot of frees. Josh King, so yeah, 6 for me.
Gents?
I'm going to agree with you all, really. Another 6. They brought in like Kuka, I think his name is, from like Parma as they went down in Syria. But it's just borderline transfers, really. You can't get better than a 6, but then you can't really get worse than a 6 as you brought in the likes of Sissoko, Danny Rose, endless players. So yeah, I'll go for a solid 6.
And then the second last team, the Dingles, Wolves. I feel like they kind of did fill the hole with Patricio leaving, but I'm not too sure about the new keeper.
I don't think he's a very good keeper.
I don't think he's that good at all, is he?
He's looked quite poor in the few games he's played.
I feel like Hwangi Chan, is he really the son they need? Probably not. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm probably going to have to give it a 2 because the signings they've made.
I'm going to give Wolves a 3. I'm going to give Wolves a 3 out of 10 because I think their signings have been okay, but to me it shows a lack of ambition. Loan signings and Jose Sarr, that's pretty much it. So yeah,
I do feel like Wolves, if they're not careful and if they stay with the team they play with at the moment, like if you look last season, they were dipping off quite a lot. I feel they might struggle this season really bad, especially as
the manager looks like he's
has only managed, of course, Sheffield Wednesday. I feel like Sheffield Wednesday, a couple of other teams abroad. I feel like if he doesn't get to the Prem taste quickly and get those form coming in, I feel like they will really struggle. Gents?
The manager's brought a new brand of football to them, and they look a lot more better to watch, So, yeah, but in terms of the signings and the transfer business, for me, it's only going to be a 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give them a 4 out of 10 because like I kind of got to agree with you. Really, there's nothing which is really good about it, but there's nothing which is like proper bad to give it a lower score. Like Hwangi Chan's a decent sign, but is it like what they needed at the time? Like Jimenez has come back, is he gonna start Hwangi Chan?
Do you feel like it proves how good the ownership of Wolves is by the fact that on transfer deadline day, of course, Keith Moore was coming in, Kamara was coming in, and those never really happened, did they? So what are your opinions about the ownership there?
Yeah, they kind of left it to the last minute a little bit to have a look at some players. They should have been looking before, really. But no, it's been quite a poor transfer window from Wolves.
Yep. Last one, West Ham. Josh?
I think it was looking really dark and doom up to the last week. They brought in Zuma, Vlasic. They brought in Ariola early on.
Yep.
Yeah, Alex Corral as well.
And that young Czech striker who looks all right from the Czech.
Yeah.
From is he from Slavia Prague? Something like that?
Something like that,
yeah.
Moscow,
he looks a decent player, exciting player. So I think West Ham, I think they've had a decent window. Maybe could have spent a little bit
West
more,
Ham,
considering they're in Europe. But I think they spent about 70 million total, so not a bad window.
I feel like with West Ham, I feel like it will be really interesting to see if they can keep going and going and going. Because I think towards the end of last season, they did have a really good, middle part, but then they kind of a little bit dipped off in some stages. And I feel like, will that Jesse Lingard not come into West Ham again affect them maybe? Because I feel like he was a really good player for them. I feel like Vlasic would be an interesting deal. Fornals, in a way, is filling Lingard's place at the moment, isn't he, really? Yeah. And there will be interesting signings. For me, it's a 7.
I'm going to be a bit controversial here, and I'm going to give them a 5 because over the past 2 years, West Ham, I've been saying they need striker, and I'm kind of contradicting myself here because Antonio's been playing class, but in my opinion, he's not a striker, he's a winger. He's not built to be up top. They've been looking for people. They brought in Haller for like 30 million.
He's built like a brick house. He's a typical striker.
I know. I think they just need that person up top. Well, Antonio's doing that at the moment, but I think they need.
Are you trying to say that if Antonio goes out injured, which he has done before, they could struggle?
Yeah, massively, especially without any really backup, really.
Okay, then. So that's all the team is wrapped up then, lads. So that's our transfer window completed, guys. So put down in the comments what you think. I'll see you next time.
Make sure to follow the Instagram official All Things Midlands podcast. I'm going to be putting some news on there, new videos, all sorts. And yeah, just check the previous videos, new videos coming up. Stay tuned and we'll see you soon, lads.
Thanks for watching, guys. See you.